Hello. I think we all are excited that we feel this shift from the West Coast to the East Coast. So big round of applause for New York Tech. Having said that, I'm going to talk about a West Coast company, a small company called Facebook.com. Don't worry about these slides. If you go to twitter.com/Lazerow, another West Coast company, you can get all these slides. And if you're not on Twitter or Facebook, you're probably at the wrong conference, I'd imagine. So what I'm going to talk about is how are brands using Facebook today, but more importantly, because we don't want to do what people are doing today, how are they going to use Facebook in the future? So what's coming in the next 12 months? Facebook, for everyone who's been under a rock for the past 7 years, is at 850 million people, largest two-way communication platform in the history of the world. And it's now larger, if you look at all of the regions of the country by internet, it's larger than every region in the world other than Asia, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Now, it's not only huge, it's engaging. Okay, 50% log in every day of their life. So that's 400 million people. That's 4 times the size of the Super Bowl, which the Super Bowl this year was a record show in the history of kind of television. 111 million people tune in to watch it. Now, if you look at the sheer numbers, 60 billion likes and comments monthly on Facebook. That's 60 billion, that's a lot. 12 billion, if you assume 20% are coming from the US, 12 billion are in the US. Now, that's a billion more than all of the Google searches in the US. Okay, so anyone who thinks that Facebook will not be bigger than Google, just look at these numbers. Now, if you just look at one of their apps, which frankly isn't even their best app, it's a photo app that just lets you upload photo and tag people. It's 1 billion new photos added every 4 days. Okay, this picture here is the 6 billionth picture uploaded in Flickr. Okay, they started in 2004, 6 billion. That's every 24 days on Facebook. Okay, so the scope that they're doing on Facebook of connecting people is ridiculous. So it's 53 billion minutes spent each month. That's half of all the TV viewership. Okay, so TV's been around for a long time. I don't have that number. I meant to look for that number this morning, but it's been around for a long time. Facebook in 7 years is half of all the time we spend watching TV, and we watch a lot of TV. Now, 31% of all the ad impressions in the country are on Facebook. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but that is one site, to have a third on one site. And right now, Facebook is bigger than the entire internet the year it started, if you look at all those numbers. So the year it started, if you were to say, I'm going to create a site that's bigger than all of you punks out there, you'd be like, that's crazy. There's no way. But Facebook is now bigger than the entire internet in terms of usage. But so what? Who cares? Why does this matter? Who does it matter to? Well, if you're a brand, if you're a publisher, if you're a retailer, this is your battleground. This is where you're focused. So if you look at kind of the priority of social networks, we released this study with Booz & Company last week, and literally everyone, 94%, are focused on Facebook, and then Twitter and YouTube and a bunch of others. I was amazed that 2% are focused on MySpace. Like, who are those 2%? Raise your hand, please, if you're still focused on MySpace. But the reason is because the world is starting to reorganize around people. Okay? And that's not just on the consumer side, which we've been focused on for the last 7 years. The next 7 years are how businesses reorganize around people, how businesses put people first. So when you look at what the smartest marketers are doing, whether you're a personal brand, a retailer, a brand, a publisher, okay, they are powering their connections. Okay, key concept. They're powering their connections. They're empowering their connections. They're giving their customers, potential customers, vendors, employees, everyone they're connected to, they're giving them the tools and resources and content to sell for them. They're powering up their connections. You know, they're tapping into it. And they're not just building these connections. I think the last 2 or 3 years, we all focus on fans. I want 1 million fans. I want 100 million fans. You know, one of my clients said, I want 1 billion fans. I said, well, there's not 1 billion people on Facebook. So we can't just focus on building connections. We have to build for connections, okay? We're building for the people we're connected to. And that's what this next year and beyond is about, and really building around connections. And so putting people first, building those connections. And it's my argument that profits are now tied to how you connect to people. Okay? The biggest way to drive shareholder value is to connect. Companies that connect will grow their business, grow shareholder value, the ultimate ROI. Companies that let their connections die will also die. That's how important this is. And in general, what I'm going to show you, simple is better. Okay? So all of the awards are won by the most complicated ideas, but what's working on Facebook today and Twitter and YouTube and others are simple ideas, everyday ideas that everyone here can do. So pretzel crisps, this is not a social product. They're delicious, great with hummus if you haven't tried them. They are great, by the way. I would try pretzel crisps. But they had never launched. They wanted to spur trial, get new customers, and build this media network, build connections. Okay, so they went from 0 to just starting to work on Facebook. Okay, 5,000 fans, 10,000 fans. Very soon, 4 months, 100,000 fans, 95% of the people who took the 2-for-1 coupon. Okay, so try this product, we'll give you one free to give to a friend. 95% redeem that. Okay, and the few months before the, the 4 months, so the first 12 weeks, not months before the promotion, or as the promotion was running, sales were up 131% because of the redemption. So you have to offer something of value. Jason Hardy, who's ran this program, understood that from the beginning. You have to show up with something of value, which could be coupons, could be discounts, could be free stuff like Oscar, but also could be content and access, and just caring. Just being there is good enough sometimes. So Oscar de la Renta, which I don't know about you guys, but this was like the oldest brand growing up. I knew no one, because it cost like $10,000 a dress, but it was not a social product, and they wanted to kind of generate buzz. They wanted to generate awareness, advertise the product, get people to connect, and for the first time in 10 years, they launched a new perfume. And what they said is, we're just going to give away 5,000 and start building the conversation. Not only giving it away, but Erica Behrman there, who runs social media, continuing the dialogue, pictures, posting. And what they realized is that within the first 12 hours, 5,000 were gone. People started tweeting, opening them. They had events. 250,000 fans are now connected to Oscar. And not just connected, but engaged. And these are important connections. And the reason why they're important connections is most people cannot afford Oscar de la Renta, but those 250,000 people are the people who will make it at some point, a small portion of them, and start buying the dresses and the clothing and the fragrances. And the last one, which is one of my all-time favorite programs that I've seen, is L'Oreal, which typically from a big CPG company, consumer packaged good, they're going to say, we're going to show up, we're going to market, we're going to shout as loud as we can. One-way marketing, we want to be the quarterback throwing, we don't want to be catching, and really in social media, you have to be the wide receiver, not the quarterback. You need to catch what your consumers are saying, catch what they're doing, and run with it. So instead of taking a tops-down approach, they took bottoms-up. We sell through salons. We're connected to 6,000 salons. How do we provide value to salons and then to their customers? So they've rolled out 4,000 salon Facebook pages on one platform, now connected to millions of people, and they have the ability to message. So this is a media network they own. Okay, this is not a marketing program. They have an always-on media network where they can continue to activate anytime they want for free on the earned side, and take a lot of those actions and buy paid media, buy sponsored stories, buy promotion around it. Now, if you look at the results here, just in the first few months, 4,000 salons came on board, okay, out of 6,000. We're talking about 21 million impressions that are growing very early on. And one of their salons generated already $5,000 of incremental new business through this. Now, will that salon ever leave L'Oreal and stop selling their products? No. They have a customers for life, and they have the customers of the salon for life. So these companies are not just looking at how do we sell product, it's how do we transform as a business to put people first and not be a douchebag. At the end of the day, like marketers, like we put out bad stuff, right? And we put ourselves first and not people. Putting people first is where you're going to win. So what are we going to do in the next year or sooner? Some of this, I think, will come out sooner. Number one, the car is an app. Your products as an app in the real world. Okay? Why do you have to check in with your phone? You're driving, you're telling your car where you're going. You turn off the car, it says, do you want to share it on Facebook? Okay, it has the distance you went. You use a Nike running app, it's the same thing. I ran. I didn't like it. I hate running. It's like the worst part of my day, right? But I'm still sharing it. So your car is an app, and being able to automatically check you in, automatically share right from the car. And this goes across every business in the real world. And you know, it's not only checking in, but what does roadside assistance look like? I'm stuck, I can't get out, I have an important meeting, can someone come and help me dig this car out? Okay, this is a new map on Facebook if you have the new timeline. OnStar's great. All of these products are great, but why isn't it connected to your friends? Because your friends will run out there and help you out for free. They'll also build a Star Wars movie. That was really cool, by the way. And then all of that action is exposed across your social graph. What does the dressing room look like? Diesel, they launched in Spain an entirely new camera-enabled, socially network-enabled dressing room. I don't know what happened after they launched it, but this is what is going to happen. You go shopping, instead of taking one person who you don't necessarily trust their fashion, they're just the only person who could go, right? And so instead of trusting that friend, you get in front, you say, do you like this New York t-shirt? No, okay, I won't buy it. Okay, or yes, and you buy it, and all of those actions are now shared. So Burberry, why, very innovative company, every store should be just pumping out these news stories. Okay, and the great thing about Facebook now is they now have the ticker, which at first I was like, why do we need a ticker? It's all this stuff, and I have like 2,000 people who, some I know, some I don't, but I've gotten kind of addicted to it. Some of you know what I'm talking about. You start looking at it, and songs and cool stuff come in. You now have the ability to get into that ticker, to get in front of your fans and their friends. Birds of a feather flock together anytime you want. Okay? That's social commerce. That's not just building a store on Facebook. That's reimagining the commerce experience around friends. And that's the opportunity here. So you look at Ticketmaster, great launch. I love it, but it's just the beginning. You find the show you want to go to. You find who among your friends are going to that show. Where are they sitting? You pick your seat. Okay? That is then shared on Facebook. Awesome, right? I'm going to the Phish concert. If we can agree on anything today, Phish is the best band in the history of bands. But not to digress, it goes in the feed, right? Why can't I buy a personalized Knicks jersey for that game that's delivered to me at my seat? They have my name, they have my friends' names, they have everyone's names, right? Why look at it as ticketing? Look at it, we're in the people business, we're in the happiness business. We can make your life so much better by adding your friends and utilities. Okay? 3 ideas. Every one of your businesses have 5 of these that you could think about. So with that, I appreciate it. Go New York Tech. Thank you.